Well, I never. An undeniable ring of bruising indeed. And identical to that of the witness beside him. Know what's going on here? I've always had this me. It's a birthmark, isn't it? A birthmark? You say? I assume the reason you've been recalled to the stand has been explained to you. Something about an inspector again. But I'm telling you, you've got it wrong as usual. You're denying all knowledge of it? Well, of course I am. Are you trying to kill me with all this nonsense, eh? Well, at least you'll have more stories to peddle back on Fresno Street, won't you? Now, we're going to need you to testify again. And you, Mr. De Rousseau and Mr. De Rossi, I'm sure you'll cooperate, won't you? Do we have any choice? We are in a bigger trouble, eh, couple? That's quite enough dilatory chatter. Proceed with the testimony. Oh, I've never seen the judge so angry. The man who claimed to be an inspector that day was definitely not this man. Oh, it wasn't? It's right, see? You think we would have forget those around the lips, eh? I never leave Fresno Street, alright? I've no interest in any redhead at the league. I'm all alone in the world, me. I've no kinfolk or nothing. Why would I be involved in something like that? Just look at me, eh? Does it look like I would carry off a disguise with a face like this? Okay. It would certainly appear that we have the wrong man. What have I been telling you, eh? There was no need for this pointless testimony. That's right. I'm just a simple peddler, remember? Fresno Street's all I know. How would I have got my police inspector certification book, eh? Well, yes, that's hard to explain, but... A brief cross-examination, I think, also very brief. Uh-oh, the judge isn't happy. Isn't there anyone in this courtroom who thinks I might be onto something? I stand steadfastly at your side as always, Mr. Naruhodo. I'm a little bit surprised that she stands by my side and not by Kazuma's side, but I am so thankful. The man was definitely not this man. And maybe the grand lips came afterwards. I don't know. Okay, why do you think was definitely not this man?
Hold it!
So you say, but how can you be quite so certain? There is no need to hurt your hands on the desk, monsieur. Surely the reason is obvious, no? Because I have never seen these lips like this. Nevertheless, there's a clear red mark around Mr. Gossip's neck. And it looks very much like that left behind on the neck of your colleague by your prized collar. Mon Dieu, with your words, it is like you tried to wring my neck. It does look very much like... It does look very much like on my neck, though, No, this is a birthmark, lad. The biggest lips in London and a neck to die for, they broke me the mood when they made me. Sorry, but this is no birthmark. For the first time in my life, I feel lucky to have been born with red hair. And I thought being Japanese made you stand out in London. So you maintain that you've never seen this man before? Oui, c'est ça. I swear to it by the flames of my hair. So fierce pride has outgrown the frustration with your hair now, has it? The lips. You never leave Fresno Street? You never leave. Do we have any evidence that can contradict this? Probably not.
Hold it!
So, you'd heard of the Red-Headed League, had you?
You don't get a name like Gossip for nothing, eh? It's my business to know what's going on off in town. I saw the tasty tidbit into a fair few redheads that came past me. Just between us, I even got sandwich to cough up for it.
Oh well, he does have a very red nose if that counts. Who knows?
But as you can see, my own hair's not got a hint of red in it. And in any case, Fresno Street's my patch. You won't catch me sidling off to some other part of town. No sir, not likely.
Oh? Do you have something to add?
Excuse me.
Mr. de Rousseau. Can I help you? Did Mr. Gossip's words just now lead you to remember something relevant, perhaps? It was the other day, when I was looking for a place near the park, a small house or something. To be the headquarters of your Red-Headed League, yes. I visited an housing agent on Lime Street, and there I saw him. This man was paying money to the agent.
What?
Mr. Gossip with a housing agent? Oui, he had some kind of contract in his hand, and they were clearly discussing terms.
But no, you're mistaken, Jam. I've never left Fresno Street. Like I said before, you've mistaken me for someone else, someone with the same face.
No, the cowboy is right. I remember it too. He was paying the man with the banknotes. Wait, you have money? With notes?
Like I said, that wasn't me.
I was curious what this man with the dirty clothes that had so much money. As I looked at the name on the papers. And what name was written, Mr. Gossip? No, this man, he lies. He tells you that he has no name. But in fact, his name is Hugh Boone, eh? He's better than Mr. Gossip, I think, see? Oh my god. He is Mr. Vigil? No way! See, Mr. Vigil? I mean, the hair looks like him. Honestly, look at the hair! Look at the hair! It's the same hair! Oh my god. He's Mr. Vigil? Wait, what?
No! I'm a peddler of tidbits of information, like I said, on Fresno Street, and that's that. I don't much like folk talking about my personal life.
Indeed. And it is not the intention of the court to invade the privacy of witnesses. Very well, I shall respect your wishes, sir. The aforementioned name shall be redacted from all court records of this trial, assuming no objections.
Objection!
What? Objection! I'm sorry, my lord, but the defense does object. Because the name just mentioned has a very deep significance to this case.
Good gracious, do you similarly object, Prosecutor Azuki?
As it happens, my lord, that particular name has already been mentioned during today's proceedings.
Well, never in what capacity?
Hugh Boone, the name of the leaseholder of the room. Let me put this very simply. The victim's body was discovered in your rented room. Oh my god, this is Mr. Vigil. I suggest, sir, that you start talking.
Well, alright. I suppose that might be the case.
Okay, so you knew about the body? So your real name is Hugh Boone? No, that's not his real name. What are you talking about?
Well, just between us. I don't like to blow my own trumpet, but there's no finer peddler of tidbits in town. So I happen to be able to afford a grubby little room in a falling down backstreet townhouse.
You do?
And once every 6 months, I go pay the rent to the agent on Lime Street. I remember now. There was 2 vulgar redheads in there last time.
If I know offense is a vulgar, it is not a me.
Think again, Peppino. Why didn't you bring this up before?
It's like I told you already. I don't like talking about my personal life. I'm a tidbit peddler as far as everyone else is concerned. No fuss.
You will update your testimony to include this most surprising revelation, Mr. Boone.
If I must.
So the leaseholder Scotland Yard has been looking for since the body was discovered. Has been here under our noses all along.
I rent the room where that fellow was found. It's true, for what difference it makes.
Makes such a big difference.
Hold
it! So, you live in that room, presumably, do you?
No, I don't live there. What do you think? There's no bed, is there? Just a desk.
Then, why would you want to rent it?
Well, I don't think I should have to say, really.
Then how about this notice board in there? Which was covered from top to bottom in confidential documents only the police should have had access to?
No, that board's not mine. The inspector must have brought it along.
Oh my god, no way.
It's the only other bits and bobs that belong to me, the desk and its handouts.
People don't generally carry enormous notice boards around with them. The real question is, why was Inspector Gregson killed there in your room?
Well, obviously, I've not the faintest idea. I mean, it's causing me no end of bother, to be honest.
It seems to me that Mr. Boone would rather as little is known about his room as possible for some reason. Yes, it does come across that way, and more importantly, knowing that the scene of the crime is actually his room completely changes things. In particular, there's one part of this testimony that's really bothering me now. That's how I'm finally going to undo this man. You are all alone in the world, no kinfolk. Well, that's not true, unfortunately. A framed photograph.
Objection!
If you have no kinfolk, as you put it, then explain why it is that among the sparse furnishings we found this photograph in the room. I presume, as you've been renting the room, that this photograph belongs to you, does it not?
Well...
Mr. Boone, drop the pretense and tell the court exactly who you really are.
I don't know what you mean. I'm a peddler. I keep telling you so. You don't need to bother with me. Please, just leave it alone.
As the man says, leave it alone. Whatever the truth is about this man's life, it has no bearing on this case. Because it's simply not possible that he impersonated Inspector Gregson.
Objection!
How can you be so sure? Just look at the man. No amount of disguise could ever hide those unmissable features.
Objection!
But what if we were to look at this the other way around? What do you mean?
Yes, counsel, what do you mean?
Well, there's no denying that Mr. Boone's lip is very prominent indeed. But consider the possibility that his prominent lip is itself part of an elaborate disguise. Then hiding that prominent feature, in other words, revealing his true face, would make an utterly impenetrable disguise. Wouldn't you agree, Mr. Hugh Boone?
You good witness, are you still hiding the truth from this court?
Oh, I love this music. If that's a disguise, then underneath it, his true identity must be... Yes, that's right. There's really only one person he could really be. My lord, defense believes it can reveal Mr. Boone's true identity to the court.
No, please, no.
Very well then, counsel. What is the true identity of this peddler who goes simply by the name of Gossip on the street?
Oh boy, I feel so bad for him. It would be Daily Vigil. Oh my god, the hair is unmistakable. The hair! It's the same hair. But I mean, aside from the hair, nothing else is the same, really.
Take that!
Your real name is actually Mr. Vigil, isn't it? Mr. Daily Vigil.
I don't recall that name, counsel. Who is this Mr. Vigil?
It's a name I encountered yesterday, my lord. It has to do with a certain client of Mr. Sherlock Holmes. A young gentlewoman came to the detective asking him to locate her missing husband. The woman in this photograph, in fact, this is Mrs. Vigil. What? From what I understand, you haven't returned home since the night before the inspector was found dead. But of course, on that night, you were being held captive by the two red-headed League men. And last night, you were put up by the prosecution service in preparation for testifying in this trial, because we'd been led to believe that you, Miss Venus, and Mr. Sandwich were all homeless. Being important witnesses in this case, we needed to know where we could find you, of course. And that explains why you've not only been unable to return home, but also unable to contact your wife, who's been beside herself with worry, waiting for you at the Vigil residence.
No, just hold on a minute. I don't have to...
What I'm talking about? Really? It's a simple enough matter to confirm my suspicions. All we have to do is pull off that disguise.
No, please.
That's molesting.
And Belief brings soap and sponge of washboard at once. Oh, wow. Mr. de Rousseau and Mr. de Rossi, you will restrain the witness.
What? You're asking the witnesses to restrain the other witness?
Oui, my lord. Si, my lord.
Oh, wow.
No, stop.
Oh, I feel so bad for him. Don't. What a transformation. He's a master of disguise.
Well, we are now seeing your true features, I presume.
Oh, you changed into your fine clothes, I see. Lift your head, sir, so the court can see your face.
It would appear that the defense counsel's assertion was entirely correct. This has all been a very elaborate deception. So witnesses, tell the court, have you seen this man before?
I don't believe it, but...
See, there is no question. This is the inspector we saw in the park.
Extraordinary.
On the day of the Red-Headed League enrollment, the man claiming to be Inspector Gregson, who appeared before Mr. de Rousseau and Mr. de Rossi in the park, was you, disguised as the inspector, or rather, was you posing as the inspector in no disguise at all? Mr. Vigil was formerly employed as the chief warder at Berkeley Prison.
The chief warder? Then your career had promise. Why, you would quite possibly have become the future governor of the prison. What on earth have you been doing peddling tittle-tattle on Fresno Street?
Well, it's been 10 years since Mr. Vigil worked at the prison. 10 years? I'm really dreadfully sorry about all of this. Yes, it's true. I am Dale Vigil. And you were the chief warder at Berkeley Prison 10 years ago? So where did Mr. Hugh Boone come from? Boone is the other me. It's a name I invented.
Well, evidently there's a great deal under the surface here.
I'll explain everything. I'll tell you just how wretched my life has become. As you say, it was 10 years ago now that my employment as Berkeley Chief Warder came to an end. Having left the prison service, I searched for some new occupation by which to earn a wage. But times were hard in London and I found no suitable engagements at all. In desperation one day, I turned my hand at selling wares on Fresno Street. But your wife appears to know nothing of this. She still maintains that you are the chief warder at Berkeley Prison. I was utterly determined that my wife should not know of my failings, which is why I've never told her. I opened an account at a bank under the name of Hugh Boone, and I rented the cheapest room I could find on Fresno Street. The scene of the very crime we're investigating? Yes, that's right. A place from which I could emerge every morning at 8 as a squalid peddler, and transform myself back every evening at 5 into a well-dressed man about town before returning home. That quickly became my daily routine. I was puzzled by the lack of furniture in the room, but that explains it. But why on earth didn't you just tell us this in the first place? I have a wife, sir, and 2 sons. And without wishing to sound self-conceited, they regard me with some pride. I couldn't bring myself to disappoint them. So instead, you decided to conceal your occupation from them? Yes. I've made such a terrible mess of everything. Still, one thing doesn't add up, no matter how many tidbits of information you could sell, even at 6 pence apiece. You couldn't hope to match the salary you must have commanded as chief warder at the prison.
Very true. To have kept your family in comfort despite 10 years of somewhat misbegotten employment.
That was all thanks to Inspector Gregson.
What?
Inspector Gregson? What on earth? It was some years after I'd invented Boone and begun my other life as a street seller. The inspector, that is, recognized me one day.
Do you mean to say the victim was an acquaintance of yours?
I knew him from my time working at a prison. When he saw what I'd become, he was deeply troubled for me and my family, and from that day forward, he visited me on Fresno Street with increasing regularity. Then one day, he asked me if I would carry out a secret assignment for him.
A secret? What was it?
I was to impersonate the inspector.
What? Impersonate him?
We always met in that little room so the inspector could brief me.
Visit Orsi's tomorrow and take a statement from the proprietress.
What? It was always something along those lines. Surveillance work, interviewing people. On those occasions, he would lend me his identification so people would believe who I was. My instructions were to make an impression, to let people know that Inspector Gregson had been at work. And for those services, he compensated me financially.
Scotland Yard Inspector willingly relinquished his identification into your care with intent to deceive? That, as I'm sure I need not point out, is a very serious criminal offense.
But why? What was the point of you impersonating him? I truthfully do not know. All I can say is that the inspector warned me on numerous occasions.
Now remember, Vigil, I need your solemn word. You don't blab about this to anyone, alright? Ever. Even if... well, if I end up a croaker.
Okay, but why did you tell us then? Uh-oh. Maybe he was already aware that someone was about to kill him. That he was on the list. In time, he started to bring papers with him to the room as well. It became something of a second office for him. Oh, it's both your room and Gregson's room. So, in fact, the person who declared himself to be Inspector Gregson was really... Yes, it was me, acting on the inspector's orders. As usual, I removed my boon disguise and then went as instructed to the park, armed with the inspector's identification book. It never occurred to me that a bruise on my neck might give me away. Well, it would seem this confession completely destroys the defense's case. What? Wait, what?
Explain yourself, Prosecutor Azuki.
My learned friend's assertion was as follows. The victim was killed at another location on a day before his corpse was discovered, at the hands of these two red-headed League men when they imprisoned the inspector. No, I didn't say he was killed by those red-headed League men. But no, that can't be. After all, it wasn't the inspector who went to the park that day, it was me. Please, can you stop doing that? It makes my hands hurt, watching you do this. Oh goodness. Finally, we have clarity. We had nothing to do with the murder of the inspector. And merci, Monsieur de la Défense, for proving it. What? Ah!
Order. Indeed, it would appear that we have reached a de facto conclusion of sorts. These witnesses had no involvement in the murder of the victim. as proven somewhat ironically by the defense. I hereby call an end to the cross-examination.
Hold it!
Asugi? Kazuma? Pardon me, my lord, but with your permission, I would like to pose one further question to the witness. Kazuma?
What question, Kazu?
It concerns the events of 10 years ago. I believe you would have been present at a very significant execution that was carried out at the time. 10 years ago? The execution of the professor, Genshin Asugi. I want to know exactly what your involvement was. Oh! Answer me, man.